1-800-449-8255. And this is the stellar Fabuloud, not fabulous, Fabuloud, amazingly spirited and gifted Clark the Shark Show. Right here from the golden, solid gold EIB Sharkraphone, you guys. This is not a microphone that was built by the Shure Microphone Company. My microphone is solid gold. It's like a tabernacle when you walk into the Catholic Church and you see the golden EIB tabernacle. That's like my Sharkraphone, not a microphone, you guys. And it's not broadcasting. It's actually what I do is shark casting. For this is Ichabod Sharkey, your humble servant, your not so humilified DJ MC. The guy at the microphone, baby. I'm like Howard Stern on fucking crack. I'm like Mark and Brian on steroids. I'm like Kevin and Bean on glue. I'm like fucking, dude, you name it. I'm like Jim Rome, that guy on ESPN. He used to be on some radio in San Diego. Or Greg Gutfeld, he's only 5'3" on Fox. That's like Sharky. I'm a little taller than 5'3", you guys, but Ichabod Shark is, I don't know, like just a mere 5'6" of a man. Yeah, that's all God wanted me to grow to, you guys. 1-800-449-8255. But it doesn't matter how tall you are or how whatever. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. And Clark the Shark has a lot of fight, baby. And right here on the cover of Rush, Power Windows, that's actually me at 251 Paseo de Gracia a long time ago. And I gave Rush this permission to use a photo of me when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15, 13. I had to use that remote to like open the window. I couldn't even feel good about going outside. And I had like a ton of TVs and internet. And look at me, you guys. I had Walkman. I had my own studio in my bedroom where I would record and overdub music. And way back in 1982, when I was 17, I actually started the Clark the Shark Show way back then. I was probably even around before Howard Stern. I was definitely around before Michael Savage or Hush Bimbo or Hannity or any of those guys. Alan Combs, remember the liberal guy that died? Dude, I wrote him. I actually created him as an experiment. I was trying to see if anyone would listen to a liberal on the air. And even the Fairness Doctrine, you remember it? They're like, dude, Alan, you're off. They got rid of him because like they tried to do the Fairness Doctrine, back in the 90s or something. And they realized no one's going to listen to the liberals, or like the liberals just get fake votes or electronic votes or fake mail-in vote. No one's even voting for them or anything. We got to vote for them. In fact, we got to get robots to just to listen to the liberals. And so finally they said, Alan Combs, not only are you off the radio, we're taking you out of the matrix. You're gone. It's not Hannity and Combs anymore. It's just Hannity. And he was actually removed from the Shark Tricks, not the Matrix, by me, Nero. I mean Morpheus. I mean Sharky. I mean Neo. I mean Bill Murray from Groundhog Day. I'm sorry, I mean Truman. I mean this kid right here with the Power Windows, Rush, at 1-800-449-8255. For as you all know, this is just a simulation. ran and created and designed and built by me, Elon Shark, at 1-800-449-8255 on the fabulous Clark the Shark Show. And then they stole all my ideas for grunge rock, Star Wars, all the mafia shit, the fucking Goodfellas and the Sopranos and Tony Montana. You guys, I swear to God, I thought it up, and I wrote every note about this incredible album, Power Windows, 1985 by Rush, but I really think of this as 1986 for some reason. I don't know why. It's from October 1985. And this comes after an album that I really like that's very robotic and mechanical, and it's called Grace Under Pressure, of course. That one's from, I think it might be from 1985 also, but I'm pretty sure it's from 84. And I went and saw that tour. I saw Rush at the Forum in Los Angeles or Inglewood, California, on the Grace Under Pressure tour. And I'd seen them before that, you guys. And I'd seen them on the Power Windows tour and many other tours. Clark the Shark, I'm into prog, but I know Rush doesn't get huge respect over in England from all the proggies, in Europe, like all over the whole continent or whatever Europe is. I'm not sure what you call it, that connection or collection of countries. They love Rush. They go and see him. But Rush is something you look at like the Rolling Stones or something. I mean, you like them. They're entertaining. You'll pay anything to see them. And they're great. But Rush will never be Yes. And Rush will never be Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Rush will never, ever be like The Who, Quadrophenia. No matter what they do, no matter what they try, they won't even be the Beatles, you guys. It took them forever to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they only got in there because that douchebag, Dave Grohl, had some pull, and he twisted a few arms and said, you guys got to put Rush in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they're like, all right, if Dave Grohl says to do it, we'll do it. And then, yes, weirdly enough, only got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because of Geddy Lee and Rush twisting some arms and getting them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And now something similar is going to have to happen with Styx, who, much like Rush, doesn't get that prog respect either. But Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins is a huge fan of Styx, mainly just because they're both from Chicago, Illinois. But he will probably have the pull to put Styx into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right here at 1-800-449-8255 on the Clark the Shark Show. I'm not even sure if Billy Corgan himself is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't think he deserves to be. I don't like any of that 90s shit, you guys. I think music died in 1990, and everything from 1991 forward fucking sucks. I mean, the liberals in the music industry just started signing these shallow, empty liberal musicians to record contracts. Some of these people have talent, like they can play really fast, or they can sit there with a metronome and learn how to play exact notes along with, speeding up the metronome and all that, learning guitar like that. But just because you're really robotic and you're like Yngwie Malmsteen musician and you can play all these notes, you'll never have what The Who has. Pete Townsend can't play at all. Nobody in The Who can play except for Entwistle. They actually suck. They're not talented, but they have this rock and roll 101 acumen that today's music will never have. And the Beatles had that too, you guys. And why Paul McCartney gives all this cred and talk and respect to today's musicians, I'll never understand. He's just trying to keep the peace, because I know guys like Paul McCartney and Elton John are like me, Clark the Shark, and they will never really respect today's musicians. Even if they can play really technical and fast or exact, or they can memorize all their lyrics like rappers. Dude, that is not talent. That is memorizing like you're trying to get a college degree. Rush has talent, you guys. The Who has talent. You know, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, those bands long ago had this kind of thing that died out and is gone forever, you guys, right here on the Clark the Shark Show at 1-800-449-8255. But I want to talk about Rush Power Windows. Now, this album, very different from anything they had ever done before. Number one, this album sounds very commercial. The songs sound like they could go on the radio in a pop commercial way. Even though they're technical, there's a lot of drumming and a lot of shit happening, and you know, the bass is really technical. It's prog music. It's difficult to play. Yet, you know, with that incredible talent and melody and atmosphere and all those instincts and, you know, accents that Rush has and does, their music is robotic and, you know, mechanical and digital as it sounds. It still comes off as human, you guys. You know, it's like all this machinery making modern music can still be open-hearted, not so coldly charted. It's really just a question of Shark's honesty. Yeah, his honesty, baby. And I'm being honest. When I talk about this album, totally different from all the Rush before it. And I think a lot of people say, in a bad way, Sharky, you know, the first shitty album is Grace Under Pressure. That's when things went downhill for Rush. And then everything after that sucked. But I don't agree. Me, Clark the Shark, I like mental, cerebral expansion, you know, going into the future, using the technology at the time, in the moment. And I think Rush maximized that in the 80s. These albums they did, Grace Under Pressure and this and the ones after it, really sound like they are in the 80s. They're in the robotic, digital, atomic age, and they are utilizing the technology to the max, you guys. They are really up-to-date sound in the 80s. And that being said, they're also, you know, they got all that technical, great, intricate musicianship just as much as ever, you guys, on this album right here. That is very different from Grace Under Pressure. Grace Under Pressure sounds prog, even though the songs sound like they can be on the radio. There's something not commercial about that album. Whereas this album, Power Windows, does sound much more marketable or commercial or radio friendly or something, or I don't know. And yet it still sounds all too digital and too, you know, too much going on. I mean, it's just gobs and gobs of technology are gooped high and piled on top of each other here. And yet I, Clark the Shark, I really like this thing because Rush does like what Frank Zappa can't or doesn't do. They make this music that packs arenas, and even if you don't really like it, there's something about it that you have to admit has something that only Rush can do, only Rush has, and you will pay top dollar to see this. And in the back of your brain, you're like, I like this as much or even more than the Rush classics, you know, Moving Pictures, Permanent Waves, and 2112. There's something about you when you go to a Rush concert, you don't mind hearing Power Windows songs. You like them. And you like Grace Under Pressure, and you have to admit it. You accept and like all that Rush after, you know, beginning with, including Grace Under Pressure and Moving Forward. At least I know I do, Clark the Shark. Now, I don't care what the stars say, I don't care what Rolling Stone and All Music think. Let's see. Well, no, there it gets 3 stars from All Music. Wow, it should get higher than that. That's not fair. The Encyclopedia of Popular Music, 2 stars. Wow, that's not good. Kerrang gave it 4. That's good. Rolling Stone said favorable. Hey, why not, you guys? The Rolling Stone album guide only gives this a 2.5 out of 5. That's a bummer, you guys, because me, Shark, I swear, I might give this album a very solid 4.5 or 4, maybe a 5. Side 1, The Big Money, melodic, incredible bass playing. Geddy Lee is really the leader on that song, you guys. Incredible drumming from Neil Peart. And, Alex Lifeson, once again, is kind of buried in the mix like the 2 albums before this one. And yet, there's something unique and interesting about his guitar that is smothered in effects. Let's be honest, you guys. The Big Money is no Spirit of Radio. It's no Tom Sawyer, you guys. It's no 2112 or any of that. But there's something awesome about the track. And it's innovative, creative, inventive, you guys. It doesn't sound like anything. It's robotic, mechanical, digital, it's futuristic, and yet it's pop. It's right on the radio. And once again, Rush are like, look at us, you guys. Look what we can do. They're saying and screaming at all us mere mortal men and all us mere mortal bands. They're like, you'll never catch up with us. And with the Big Money, it's like they slip up a little. It's not as great as the Rush you expect, and yet it's really great. It's really good and solid, and none of us can, we can't go there. The Big Money, Rush. It is like all Rush. It has that Rush thing that you don't have, and I, Clark the Shark, don't have, And Grand Designs, here's one of those digital electronic songs that's a little too hokey and weird, but I like it, too much keyboards, like the Big Money. And right away on side 1, you're getting the feeling that there's just too much going on, too modern, too digital, too many keyboards. And yet you're still listening. You're like, this is interesting, whatever the fuck it is. I am still here. Now, with the Manhattan Project, you're getting into one of Rush's greatest songs, you guys. Of course, about, Oppenheimer, and the nuclear bombs and, the pilot of Enola Gay flying out of the shockwave on that August day, when they bombed Japan. They let the genie out of the bottle, the Pandora, if you will, right here on the Clark the Shark Show. I love the Manhattan Project. Awesome song, very melodic. And Marathon 2, these 2 songs, 3 and 4, I love both of them, you guys. Marathon, you just get the feeling like you're running up a hill forever and, you can't miss a beat. Like you just got to pull over and get a water or a Gatorade or something. But, it's a song about life. Like, don't get off, or if you miss the bus, you're really going to be set back. It's like if you don't pay your mortgage, or you don't pay your car insurance, or you don't pay your life insurance, you got to keep up, you guys, and run the marathon. It's kind of like the Bible, I think Geddy Lee is like an atheist or something. I'm not sure, but I know that Neil Peart said he was a monotheist. I don't know what he probably just believed in God in general, like there has to be a higher power, a creator, a maker. And that's kind of how I, Clark the Shark, am too. But I have this Jesus thing, like I'm a little paranoid that like the Lord is this ass kicker that might, send me to hell or something. So I got to be careful. And I don't think Neil Peart was like that. He's like, I just, I know there's a God, there's DNA and quarks and atoms and molecules and molecular biology. And there's little tiny microscopic things. Yeah, there's a God right here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255. And definitely Neil Peart was not an atheist, you guys. I know a lot of people think he was. I don't think he was, you guys. I'm not sure what Alex Lifeson is or if it's even relevant, but Territories Side 2 is awesome, you guys. I really love Territories, whole wide world and an endless universe. Yet we keep looking at the Sharky in reverse. Don't feed the people, but we feed the machine. Can't really feel what Sharky means. In different circles, we keep holding our grounds. In different circles, Shark keeps spinning round and round and round. Yeah, I do, you guys, just like many of you. What a digital, mechanical, difficult, yet melodic song Territories is. I love it. And Middletown Dreams, it's kind of one of those hokey songs, like, on side 1, kind of like Grand Designs, there's a part of you that wishes it wasn't even on the album, or maybe it belongs on the album or something. And Emotion Detector, I kind of like Emotion Detector, like straight to the heart of the matter, dude, right to the beautiful part, you guys. I like these melodic, I like how progressive this album is, but how melodic and atmospheric it also is. It reminds me a little of like Yes back in the 80s, 90125 era moving forward with Trevor Rabin. It's like that, you guys. It's not like that, but it's like that. And of course, Mystic Rhythms, awesome. Killer song, maybe a little too digital, and it's like these marching robots, it's like sometimes we catch a window, a glimpse of what's beyond. Was it just imagination stringing Shark along? When you guys have a deja vu, that's just me, Sharky, fucking with you guys, messing with you the same way God does with dinosaurs and carbon 14 and the Paleontonic period. Like, none of it happened. I just wrote it all, you guys. I just made this whole thing up, and I'm having a dream, and all of you are in it. And if I want Mystic Rhythms, baby, I'm going to give you Mystic Rhythms. That's right, me, Clark the Shark, right here on the Clark the Shark Show. So if you see a glitch in the Matrix tomorrow, on November 29, 2023, if you're going to Starbucks and you're like, I just seen that chick in the red dress or the blue dress, you remember Sharky programmed her too. I didn't just program her, I programmed you. So when you're having a mystic rhythm, dude, it captures your, dude, what does it say? It's like, dude, under a canopy of the stars, dude, or under the all alone, the under the African sun, or one humanoid escapee, one android on the run, seeking freedom from Sharky before I take you over, you guys, and condemn you all to hell. You better worship me, you guys, right here on the Clark the Shark Show, Mystic Rhythms, because I'm not kidding around. You guys think I'm kidding, but that's me. That's me back when I was only 14. And I thank Rush for using my image from 251 Paseo de Gracia. My family weren't really nice to me. So I always ended up like that, just a shirtless kid trying to open my window because I just felt so isolated and alone, you guys. I was just lonely. And Rush are like, yeah, Sharky, Middletown Dreams. You're just a kid in Redondo Beach or Toronto or Calgary or Seattle or Minnesota. Just, you can't leave the house. You don't want to go outside because everyone hates you. You can't go anywhere. And I'm like, well, sometimes I go to church to like look at the girls. And they're like, Sharky, you run that church. I'm like, yeah, I know. I run everything, but I want you all to believe I'm lonely and confused and sad, and I'm just sitting all alone, and I can't even open my window. I need this remote to fucking open my power windows, you guys, at 1-800-449-8255 Rush. I want you guys to buy this album at Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, that I recorded all by myself. I played every instrument on this, you guys. There was no Neil Peart or Geddy Lee or Alex Lifeson or any of that. I just made those guys up. And in fact, I made you up too. And I just want to entertain you, and I amuse myself by watching you, self-destruct and just, fall down and, crash into walls or just crash your car. Or look at me, dude. I'm looking at you. I'm like, yeah, you'll make mistakes, but look at me, Sharky. I'm lonely. I'm here all alone with a power window at 1-800-449-8255 on the Clark the Shark Show. Just back in Redondo, Torrance, Hermosa Beach. I'm just all alone, you guys, with this remote, and I can't even fucking open my window. Look at that. It's only open like 3 or 5 inches. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, come on, Rush, you got to use this image. And I want to tell you guys something else. Rush, use this picture of me from 1985 or 86. I don't even know. I was just 13 or something. And I said, you guys, Rush, you can use this picture of Clark the Shark, but you got to pay me royalties. And guess what? Rush never fucking paid me anything. They didn't give me a dime. I'm like the baby on that cover. Remember, I'm not going to mention that band from 91, but the little baby had to sue the band and they never gave him royalties. Well, that's like me, Clark the Shark, right here at 1-800-449-8255 from the fabulous golden EIB Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone. I'm on the cover of Rush Power Windows, 1985. Actually, at the time, I was 20, but I gave them a picture of me when I was just 14 or 13 or 12. And I did a little time in Toronto for a while, and I took this picture of myself. It was like a selfie. I set up a camera, and I took this picture of me just to show how lonely and depressed and isolated that I am and detached. And then Rush takes this picture of me, and they don't even pay me royalties or give me any credit, you guys. And that's why I'm kind of bitter. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, 1-800-449-8255. Nah, I'm just kidding, you guys. That's not me, and it's not a simulation. You're not controlled by me. I'm not God. But you should still worship me because I'm like Talking Tina, from the Twilight Zone. And you better be nice to me, or you could end up like that kid right there on the cover of Rush Power Windows 1985. And I want you to buy this album, you guys. If you're only 20 years old in 2023 and you were born in 2003, 2 years after 9/11, you guys, remember, I'm the number one musician on the internet. I'm the number one syndicated talk show host in America, you guys. I'm bigger than Hush Bimbo ever was, bigger than Hannity, bigger than Savage, bigger than Stern, bigger than Mark and Brian, bigger than Kevin and Bean or Jed the Fish or any of them, or Stryker. Fuck them all, dude. Clark the Shark is bigger and better. I want you to remember, dude, I'm number one on Venus, Mars, Andromeda, all the galaxies. There's a bunch of UFOs that are starting to be like, you know what, we're coming around. We like Clark the Shark, and Neptune and, dude, all of them. Saturn's rings are disappearing, you guys. Venus, it's pretty hot there. Mercury, I'm number one. But especially, as always, you guys, on Uranus. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. You better be here every day because I'm reviewing Rush. I'm reviewing the greatest albums, you guys, and I want you to buy them at Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, and you tell them that Clark the Shark sent you, baby. A guy that's seen Rush like 30 times live since I was 14. I've been seeing Rush, and I wanted to say, I know that I rarely talk about the guys who died or crossed over, but God bless and rest in peace to Neil Peart a monotheist. I don't know if he accepted Christ or Buddha or Mohammed or any of that, but he accepted God. And I know he's in heaven. If there is a heaven, God's like, Neil, you thought you were as smart as me and all that, and you're a goddamn fucking genius, but I don't care. I still like you, Neil. You are in heaven right here on the Clark the Shark Show. And heaven is like my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I put people there if I want to. So I just put Neil in there, you guys. Yeah, that's right. Me, Clark the Shark. So if you better be good, and you better be here every day and listen at the golden EIB Sharkerphone. It's not a microphone, baby. It's the Wolfman Jack on crack. That's right. Clark the Shark, baby. The silky smooth voice, the amazing delivery. Where I just told you about one of the greatest albums, you guys, Power Windows. Maybe it's not one of the greatest, but I really like it. It's interesting. It's digital. It's robotic. And where they failed on Grace Under Pressure, kinda, they didn't really fail there. But where that album went wrong, this album goes right. That being said, they're both apples to oranges. I can't compare them. They're totally different. But it's all here, baby. The incredible drumming of Pert, the weird singing of Geddy Lee, the amazing bass playing, and the spectacular guitar and effects from Alex Lifeson, and of course, tons of keyboards that you hate and love. And if you're in a just candy-assed escapism mood or mode, or even if you're not, even if you're pissed off in a bad mood, you might put on some Rush. And it might either cheer you up or bring you down or do nothing at all. It'll just turn you into a robot. That's right, like this kid. You'll end up like him with no feeling or no emotion. You won't even be an emotion detector, baby, right here on the Clark the Shark Show, where I'm out of here, people. Make sure you buy this album. Peace.